It's very much time to head out into the garden to talk about your spring flowers. Joining us now, 10 of your side's gardening expert, Dabney Morgan.
Hey, Cheryl, how are
Our live line is open. Hello
Good.
to you. The number to call, 673-5420. Hope you had a nice weekend.
Oh, wonderful. Yes, my son was in from Detroit.
Very nice.
His girlfriend came down to visit with us, so we've had a wonderful weekend. I, of course, still had to do a little work. But,
Did you do some gardening?
I did some gardening and helped some other folks with gardening. And I'll tell you, this weather is just what the plant doctor ordered, because I mean, things are really jumping now. The only thing we have to be aware of, it is starting to get a little dry, and if we do not get that rain, we need to probably get the sprinklers set up and start doing a little water. But remember, folks, don't overwater. You know, I have to keep reminding, because even though we're warm, most things do not need to be watered a couple of times a day or even once every day. So
it's a good
always
reminder.
check the soil.
Probably until this week you didn't really need to pull out the hose because we've had some steady rain.
Exactly.
And you know I don't have a green thumb, but boy, my yard looks like Norfolk Botanical Garden right now.
Well,
It's really nice.
I've enjoyed mine too. Everything looks great. Don's over there laughing at us, but he doesn't have a lot of room to talk either. He doesn't do all that well gardening.
Let's see what Henry from Portsmouth has to say. Henry, what's your question for Dabney this afternoon?
Yeah, I want to ask Dabney. He gave three ingredients of something you need to put on your tomato plants, and he said to put
yeah, let me help you with it. What we do when we plant tomatoes, of course, we want to dig a fairly decent deep hole, put in a cup of lime, a cup of bone meal, a cup of manure, or a couple of quarts of a good compost, and then a tablespoon of fertilizer. And we put all these things down in the tomato plant, Cheryl, because what happens once that plant's going to go until November, so we put it down deep so that mid-season it'll grow down and pick those things up. Of course, then everybody always interests, why do we plant on a 45-degree angle? The reason for planting your tomato on a 45-degree angle is to develop a better root system. The stem will form roots, but you don't lose the roots the plant already has. Back in the old days, the farmers would plant them deep, but they weren't irrigating like we do in a home garden, so consequently they'd have the good roots. But here, if we do it deep, we tend to overwater the roots, so that's why we do a 45-degree angle.
Makes a lot of sense. So the 45-degree angle and then the magic ingredients that you mentioned, and you'll have healthy tomato plants.
And within 2 days, the plant will bloom, will grow right up to the sunlight, so there's not a problem about the plant growing on an angle, so you don't have to worry.
Sheila from Suffolk has a question for you. Sheila, good afternoon. What's your question for Dabney?
Yes, good afternoon, Dabney.
Yes.
I happen to love creeping jennies.
Oh.
Now, I'm here in Suffolk, and I don't see any creeping jennies at our local Walmart or Lowe's. Do you all at Anderson have a catalog, maybe?
No, unfortunately, we do not have a catalog, but I think you'll find most garden centers do carry that plant, creeping jenny. Most of what you see is a gold leaf, but that is a semi-hardy. It's a ground cover. It's a great plant to use as a ground cover in border beds, and it's fleshy, kind of like a sweet potato vine. But that one happens to be one that'll brown out during the winter, but many times it'll come back in spring.
So she shouldn't give up on trying to find it.
No, that's the point. Don't give up on trying. And I'll tell you, the cool weather we've been having, that would not be available probably till now or towards the first, well, we're almost at the 1st of May, but once we get into May, then these things are more readily available.
Prime time to get out into your garden.
Absolutely.
Dorothy from Suffolk, also on the line. Dorothy, good afternoon to you.
Hello, how are you?
Hello,
Fine.
We're great.
Beautiful down here, beautiful.
Well, good. What's your question?
I stay at the beach much time during the summertime, and I kid, but I live in Suffolk. And I would like to know some kind of flower that I can put out around my front door, you know, an entrance light that would look pretty good and stay fresh without me being there to water it every day.
Oh, it's not a problem. One of the best ones is Lantana. Lantana is so drought tolerant, and you'll find that that's perennial. That'll die down during the winter and then come back. The other thing, if you're out shopping, you may find a plant that you like may need a little bit more water than Lantana. But you know, we have these polymers, these gels that you can incorporate into the soil that are moisture retention, and they'll hold the moisture there for your plants. The key, though, when you mix that in the soil is to mix it. You just can't put a tablespoon in the bottom. But if you'll mix with soil, that'll hold the water while you're gone weekly. The other thing, if you're doing containers, remember you have the self-watering containers such as the earth box, where you water, then that keeps the water there for the plant for anywhere from 7 to 14 days. So there are a lot of solutions for you. It wouldn't be a problem at all.
You've talked about some really great stuff, and Dabney is not finished yet. He's headed over to the Wavy web desk for a live chat, so you can go to wavy.com and ask him all of your gardening questions.
Thank you, Cheryl.